The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. After years of memes and jokes, finally it is time for Zelda to be the main character of the game. So this is Zelda's first adventure, apparently, because not really if we don't consider all of these games to have playable Zelda, and of course the one that we don't talk about. But anyways, this is Zelda's first time as the main character and the main focus of the game. And I have to say, as her first adventure and as one of the last Zelda games of the Nintendo Switch, Zelda has done a great job being the main character. Now of course, we are not talking about Link here because Link is not the main character, and Zelda, we can't expect her to have Link's abilities, so she has to have powers of her own, so to make her unique and give her a reason to be the main character instead of Link. At the beginning of the game, Zelda goes to prison and there she meets Tri, who gives her the powers of echoes and bind and stuff like that. During the game, Zelda gains more of these echoes and becomes more powerful and manages to defeat her enemies and solve puzzles. Zelda also have a sword fighter form which she can shortly transform into a Link-like gameplay where she can use sword and use defense, but that bar depletes very fast, so it is wise to use that power in only certain areas of the game like the still world or dungeons. The main focus of Echoes of Wisdom is how you deal with situations and how you deal with enemies and how you use your tools to your advantage. During her adventure, Zelda explores various locations in Hyrule and meets many characters, locations like Gerudo Valley, Goron Mountain or Zora Domain. And exploration and going from place to place in this game is a joy thanks to all of these fast travel points that are scattered across the map. You also get a horse in the game, which I didn't find much use for because I was either walking to a place that I was supposed to go or I was using the fast travel point, but having the horse in this game is kinda neat. One of the shining points of Legend of Zelda franchise has been its weird and quirky NPCs, and this game is no exceptions. As I mentioned, Zelda goes to various locations in Hyrule, and during her adventure, she meets many characters that are charming and quirky, just like previous Zelda games. Some of my favorite characters in this game include this business scrub Deku that sells juices, the leaders of the Zora Domain, and the captain of the Royal Guards of Hyrule. Now let us talk about one of the coolest things in Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which is the Steel World. These places are scattered across the map of Hyrule and you have to explore them, and you have to purify these places so that Hyrule can go back to its original form. The reason why I find the Steel World to be extremely special is because it is a reflection of all the things that are supposed to be in the normal Hyrule map. And there are dungeons in the Steel World which are the main dungeons of the game and you have to complete them in order to complete the Steel World. As you know, this game was made on the same engine that Link's Awakening Remake was made, so there are lots of similarities in the graphic style of this game or the design of the game, like the 2D sections. And looking at Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, I am inclined to accept this game as more in line with classic Zelda games than games like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, which is a nice change of pace considering that the last Legend of Zelda games were all grand open world games, so it is a good palate cleanser to have a little silly Zelda game in the style of classic games. One of the reasons why I really liked Echoes of Wisdom is that there is no correct way to play this game. You can play this game completely wrong. At certain points the game may ask you to do certain things so that you can progress, but most of the puzzles can be solved with a simple solution that works the entire game. Like stacking beds or making water streams or spamming spider webs so that you can traverse the dungeons. Which is why exploration in this game is actually kind of fun because you are just messing around with the world to find out. But I can also understand that that can be a negative point because you can do and spam the same solution for every puzzle and it will work every time, so there is no need for you to think outside of the box. Or the fact that you may never even use half of Zelda's echo abilities. And speaking of echo abilities, this game has the most abysmal UI I have ever seen in my entire life. The problem is that they use the same UI that they used for Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, which is you holding right on D-pad to access your quick menu, and there you can find all of your echo abilities. But at some point in the game, you get so many echo abilities that it would be a chore to go through all of your abilities just to find the single one that you need to solve one puzzle and may never even use ever again. Every time you finish a Still World location, Troy gets more experience and then gets stronger, granting you access to stronger echoes which you can do to solve puzzles and combat enemies. But this can also become a problem because once you get the stronger echo characters, you can just spam them in battles, which means the old ones become completely useless to you. For me, once I got the strong Moblin, I just spammed that for every battle. I didn't even look at my other echoes, I didn't even try to think outside the box. I just did the same battle for every encounter in the game. Other than that, there are many side quests in this game which I actually really enjoyed. One of my favorites being this Deku one that is standing next to a lake waiting for her date to come, which is pretty adorable when you think about it. There are also many collectibles in this game, like the many heart containers scattered across the map, or the stamp locations, which every time you found them, this stamp guy comes out and gives you a stamp. And I also mentioned this Scrub Deku guy, who is basically the cooking of this game. During your explorations, you find these items and fruits and monster parts which you can take to the Scrub Deku guy and he will make a smoothie for you. These smoothies can have different abilities and grant you more health for a short amount of time, or they can get you more oxygen under the water, give you more stamina and stuff like that. And speaking about this game, I have to also mention one thing, is that I didn't expect for the story to be so good. There are sections of the story which characters interact with each other and that's very endearing, but also one of the most important lore points of the Legend of Zelda history is actually explained in this game. I know that some people have a problem with this game, saying that Zelda is not fun to play like how Link is fun to play, but people, we asked for this. We wanted Zelda to be the main character because we knew that Zelda is not gonna be like Link. Overall, I really enjoyed my time with this game, and I think as the final Zelda game for the Nintendo Switch, this game is really good.